Hi, everybody. I think that we are live. You show me.
Mine is done.
Anyway, Mark's showing me the dismal weather forecast. Anyway, sorry. I'm like looking at all kinds of things. I'm like a crazy person because I when I went to go into StreamYard to do the live, I saw that StreamYard had once again deleted my live. So it didn't show that anybody was, that I was doing one. So if anybody's getting any kind of notifications, it's right now. But I have Mischief and Merrily here. Two mods, they could fight it out. So anyway, oh, Joe McCoy is here. Oh, yeah, I think it's like 4 degrees here too, Joel, and the wind chill is way below that. Not -9, Mark just said. So yeah, it is. I've been outside several times today because of this little monster. We have a new addition to the family. Can you say hi? Can you say hi? Her name is Mags, as in Magz. So, because I really like Z's. Hey, Conda, good to see you. Maybe some people's going to see my notifications since StreamYard likes to delete. She's being a monkey. Since StreamYard likes to delete my lives that I have scheduled. So, yeah, it is cold and going to be cold for a long time, apparently. She's a little camera shy, apparently, but this is Mags. Her name is Magnolia, but we call her Mags. She is a mini Aussie, so a mini Australian Shepherd. She looks just like Mark's Australian Shepherd, but she's going to hold on to my arm for dear life, like I'm going to let her fall. She doesn't like the camera. So anyway, this is Mags. She's a spoiled brat. We told my cousin that we're going to have a refund on her because she's spoiled. This one is spoiled. We need a new puppy. Yeah. Hey, Kristen. Good to see you. So I'm going to let a few more people come in. Hopefully my notifications are going out. She's in the biting stage. She's teething, so she wants to chew on me constantly. And she's really tiny. She doesn't look it so much on camera, but she only weighs like 3 pounds. So she's just little. She's just tiny and sweet. Yeah, she loves her mama. Yeah, hi, Mags. Oh, she's very vocal. She likes to talk. So, are you sweet? Can you look at the camera? Look, Max, there's the camera. Yeah, hi. Daddy took her out to potty a while ago, but I'll have to take her when I get off of here. So, isn't she precious? I mean, she's a little snuggle bug. Oh, can you hear her? I don't know if y'all can hear her. Oh, oh goodness. She just goes, oh, oh, oh. And she's got a death grip on my hand. It's good to see everybody that's coming in. I was trying to, give it a couple minutes because StreamYard deleted my live notification. So nobody knew I was going live except for my mods. So I'm hoping that if anybody's getting their notification now. Isn't she cute, Buttercup? I just got her Sunday. She's a mini Aussie. So she's a mini Australian Shepherd. She's about 3 pounds right now. And she's got a absolute death grip on my hand. She is something else, but her name is Mags, Magz. Name's Magnolia, actually. She's a registered mini Aussie, and I got her from my cousin. So yeah. Oh, Missy, you gonna have to go lay down. Can you go find Daddy? Can you go find Daddy? Mommy's gotta do a show. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. I see you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Yes, they are very, very smart dogs. We have an Australian Shepherd named Duke, and she looks just like him. So it's kind of like reliving Duke's little childhood when we first got him. So, oh, she is grunting. I don't know if you can hear it, but she is just grunting. She's precious, and I'm in love, and she's kind of my little, you know, support doggy. She's gonna keep me company and help me heal. Isn't that right? Yes. Well, I'm gonna put her down. She'll probably get mad at me, but go find Daddy. Can you go find Daddy? Go find Daddy. Yeah. She says, I'm going. She went that way, so we shall see. Mark stayed home from work because of the weather. I don't know if you can see behind me, but it's all white back there. That's actually mostly sleet. It is kind of snowing a little bit now. How many dogs do I got now? 4. Yeah, we've got 4. Well, 5 if you count Charlie, but he's my dad's dog, so I don't count him. But yeah, we have 4. We had 4 before, and my little Savannah, she passed away, and I don't know, it just kind of felt like something was missing. So I feel like I've got a hair on my face now, probably a little puppy hair, huh? Yeah. But anyway, I hope she's back. She usually is around my ankles. Yeah. But I've been outside with her in this cold several times and I cannot get warm. So I've got my hat on, my big sweater on, and if it makes any sense at all, I got all this on and then I have my menopause fan going. So who knows, right? Mischief said she'd be right back. I'm not sure where she was going, but I'm sure she'll be back in just a minute. I'm going to check in with some of y'all that, yeah, yeah, 4's not that many out in the country. Yeah, and ours are 2 of them are little. Well, one of them's little. Hollis, he's a Maltipoo. And then, I mean, she's just a puppy, but she won't get very big. And then we have the Australian Shepherd and the English Bulldog. So, and then we have Dad's dog that's down here most of the time in the daytime. Mark takes him back when he feeds if he doesn't go back before that. So, yeah. I'm going to check and see who all's in here so far, and we are going to get started. Yeah, for those of you that just popped in, my StreamYard for some reason deleted my live that I had scheduled. So a lot of people either are just finding out that I'm going live or maybe won't know and maybe they'll catch it on the replay. So I don't know what is up with StreamYard. It does that every once in a while. And I really don't know what the deal is. And a lot of times I will go back and check. And I did this time too, to make sure that it's on there and everything. And then sometimes it just, when it gets time to go on, it's not there. And so I went and stuck it on there real fast, like in the last 2 minutes before showtime. And, gosh. But anyway, Marilee's always good to see you. Mischief Managed, always good to see her. Joel McCoyne, of course, it's always good to see you. Thank you so much for being a member and such a huge support to not only this channel, but so many others. You're just so kind to the channels that I can't thank you enough. So Conda, good to see you too. Thank you also for being a member. It is good to see you every time you pop in. Chris 10, good to see you. Thank you for being a member. Buttercup 49. Aw, so cute. Yeah, she's cute. She's like about almost 8 weeks old, so she's just little. Yeah, but yeah, she's a cute little gal, Joel. She really is. That's what she said. Cute baby. Yes, she is. That's my pride and joy. Just got her Sunday. So, yeah. Yeah, 4's not too many out here. Glorfindale West, good to see you too. Also, thank you for being a channel member. Those channel members just mean the world to us. That's what she said. Yeah. Joe McCoy, thank you, Susie. That was kind of you to say. It's not kind of me to say, it's the truth. You are just such a huge support to those of us that are lucky enough to have you in our chat. I can't thank you enough. I really can't. It's just always nice to see you. I always kind of feel like, okay, somebody's got my back if I see you in the chat. So, I did have one little thing that I wanted to discuss before we get started on today's live. She's down here nibbling on my toes. So if I, scream ouch and cry, you'll know that I've got a puppy chewing on my toes. Oh, so that you heard your notification today for once? Yeah, I know. It is crazy. I don't understand it at all. And then I'll tell you something else that usually whenever I get ready to go live, when I hit go live, it will come on my screen and it'll say you are live. Well, I wait till that goes off of my face because I don't know for sure what y'all are seeing or hearing or what. So I just wait for that to go off. This time it didn't even flash on the screen. So I'm just sitting here like, okay, guess I'll just start talking. So anyway, yeah. Oh, do you go get you something to eat, Mischief? That sounds good. I'm getting ready to make a hamburger for us for dinner after I get off of here. Well, it's some kind of a cheeseburger, but my hair is just crazy. I've been, with hats and coats and everything on, so it's like a total mess. That's why I just put this on my head and came on, went on and went live. So Mark's like, "You gonna wear that hat?" I'm like, "Yes, I'm covering up my hair. Thank you." But anyway, so back to what I wanted to talk about. Hey, Poet, good to see you. You're in just in time. It's snowing there. Well, I think it's trying to snow here. It's kind of hard to tell. It just is so gray and icky, and it's been like sleeting all day. Ugh, I have to be so careful when I take the dog out because my ramp is frozen. Brian, you'll have to flip back to the beginning of it and look at my new puppy that I got. Or I did put pictures of her on the community post/posts now. It says post instead of community post or community. I don't know how they figured that made it any handier. Yeah, is that what you're getting now? Ugh, I absolutely hate sleet, hate snow. I'm not a winter girl. I just am not a winter girl. Mark laughs at me because I say I want to move to Canada, and he's like, "Oh yeah, that'll work out good for you." So, but anyway, back to what I wanted to talk about. It's a little bit of a huge, I guess, health update. I talked about it to my family first, and then I also spoke to Mischief about it before I decided to go live. I mean, I just wanted to cover my circle before I went live about it. But I got a call from my oncologist on Thursday. Yeah, today's Friday. Yeah, on Thursday. And so yesterday. They have what they call a cancer board, and what it is it's her and 7 other doctors, and they all look over the patients that are like tough cases or like complicated cases, which if anybody's going to be a tough case or complicated case, it's me. So we don't have snow left, remind Mark I'm in Canada, California. But anyway, so she called me and she said that the cancer board had met on Thursday. She came straight and called me, which they do every Thursday, and they almost always talk about me because I'm crazy. But anyway, she said that they looked over my PET scan results where the radiologist had said that it didn't show any growth, but that it was the same size. It didn't show any growth, but it didn't show any less either. So anyway, she said that the 8 of them looked it over very thoroughly, and that they have a unanimous decision that I am, at least right this minute, cancer free. So, hey, Eileen. So yeah, I'm actually cancer free. And I am like, oh, I'm getting chills just even thinking about it. So she said that what the radiologist is seeing is scar tissue that will often light up and look, like that there's something there, but that it's just not. It just, it has not changed. in over 6 months. And the way that they're looking at it, yeah, cancer-free Susie. I am very happy. And if I don't seem like I'm as excited as, I ought to be, I'm just kind of still like soaking it up, soaking it in because I wasn't expecting to hear that yesterday. I wasn't expecting to hear anything. When I saw her call, I was like, oh God. So now, March the 4th, I get to have my port removed, and I think it'll be like 6 months before I have to go back for another scan. I will have to go every 3 to 6 months, whatever she decides, and she will tell me that the first part of April. Yes, good news is always good to hear. I am so excited. Thank you guys. Thank you all for saying what great news it is. I'm literally kind of numb, I think. I'm just a little numb. But I told my dad and of course Mark and our daughters and yesterday, and then I told Mischief today because I was just like, I gotta tell Mischief. And so then I wanted to tell the rest of you. So yes, I am so excited. So, oh gosh, still getting chills. Oh yeah, Chris, thank you. Thank heavens. Bless you, Susie. I'm about to cry now. I don't know. Maybe it's sinking in a little bit more now that I've actually like put it out into the universe, right? Ah, Joel, he says, you have faced the cancer battle with with a great amount of strength. You are a great example of strong and brave. Ugh. You know what? I didn't have a choice. When being strong and brave is all you've got, then that's what you do, right? Yeah. So that's where I'm at. That's all I had. And so that's what, yeah, if I didn't tell Mischief, she would kick my butt. Oh, she had already got on to me for another little thing I didn't tell her. So I was like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just like, I don't think about, sometimes I just forget to share with friends, like privately kind of deals, but I didn't forget this time, which I was already going to tell her. I was going to tell her last night and I fell asleep. So, anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. Today's live is about what kind of people do we think join cults. And I put on the thumbnail that, it's not who you think it would be, because we hear all the time about, people that are maybe stupid or that are like, I don't know, maybe have mental problems or just, anything. But the truth is, they don't really want those. They want you to be smart and they want you to, like, have the mental capacity to care and to ask questions and to want to make a better world, or to, whatever their thing is, whatever they're coming across as. They don't want, for lack of a better word, they don't want dummies. Okay. They want you to be pretty smart. You know, they they can then manipulate that. And it's a horrible thing, but they can. So yeah, I can imagine. I've seen her get on Cheryl too. So anyway, but I'm going to go ahead and get started. Some of this I will have to read just because I want to make sure I get it right. And we will just see what we get. Okay. Oh, no, you thought it was bad news? No, I'm just numb. I think numb is the like, I'm afraid to speak it into the world kind of thing, into the universe. I'm like, ugh. So, because I'll tell you guys, whenever we went to Houston to MD Anderson, I had this huge surgery and my doctors all came back and they said, you're cancer free. You are cured. And I went online. Well, first of all, I told my family. Then I went online, told all my friends. I was happy, 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 told everybody, I am cured. I am cancer free. I am blah, blah, blah. And 2 weeks later, I came back to Tulsa and saw my oncologist, and she's like, "We're gonna start you on chemo. We're gonna blah, blah, blah. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. We're gonna get" Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna jinx it. I was scared in a way that I might. So, yeah, if I talk about it, it might turn out to not be real. Yeah, might not be real, but I guess it is. I don't know, but I told her yesterday, I said, "Do not tell me this if it is not true." And she explained that I am what they call in full remission and it could come back. The way she explained it was it could be 4 months, 4 years, never. We don't know. We just don't know. So I hope I never have to come back on here and say, well, it's back, you know. But as of right now, as of today, I am cancer free. Now, if I could just get shingles free, we would be good. So, anyway, I better get started or I'm going to be in trouble. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mischief, for just always being there for me. So, whether we realize it or not, y'all, we are all influenced by from one degree to another by social behavior. Yeah. So right now is right now, and that's all that matters. Absolutely, poet. That is all that matters. I'm going to put that right up on that screen because that says it all for me right now. So, communication, not just actual conversations, but what we hear, what we see on TV, on the internet, all that is means of communication. And so, and it affects what we think about others and it affects what we think about ourselves. Okay. So, relationships, not only romantic relationships, y'all, but friends, coworkers, peer groups, family, you name it, all kinds of relationships. They all shape our values, our morals, you know, our gosh, my nose is itching like crazy. Gosh. Hold on, I've got a tissue somewhere. That ain't it. Here we go. It's actually a piece of toilet paper, but it'll work. I just have to scratch. Okay. But it shapes our work or play ethics. Like, are we a good worker? Are we a fair player, either in games or, whatever? I mean, it can shape all of that. Relationships are far more influential to our lives than we realize. Then, y'all, there's religion, which absolutely, for many of us, greatly shapes how we live. Not only is there whatever religious belief system we subscribe to, but many times religion affects the communications that we have, that we're open to. Because, if you're not open to communications, you're not going to hear it no matter what. And it also affects the relationships that we have. And that's not exclusive to traditional relationships. It's perhaps even more pervasive in what they call new religious movements. So, new religious movements are basically a movement that's new, but that can be, that's a relative thing because some people call Scientology a new religious movement, and we know that it's not new, it's been here a long time. But at some point, less than 100 years ago, it was a new religious movement. And so some people prefer that word to cult. And I know that even Blow Drill prefers that to cult. And I understand in some ways, but then in other ways, I'm like, you know what? I want to give new religious movements like Scientology all the shit I can. So if I call them a cult, it feels more like that I think that they're more disgusting than if I call it a new religious movement, because a new religious movement can just be a religion that started up 6 months ago or 6 years ago or whatever, just has to be less than 100 years old. So, I guess after 100 years, it's either qualified as a religion or it goes into cult territory. So, anyway, but a new religious movement is a religious, ethical, or spiritual group with practices, goodness, I can't talk, of relatively modern origins. So NRMs are founded by someone who is a charismatic leader. Hmm. They are often also very authoritarian. Sounds about right. But the whole deal with being an authoritarian is generally not seen at first. Like, so they kind of hide they're crazy, or they hide they're mean. Yeah. We call that Kleenex on a roll. I do too, sweetheart. I do too, Marilee. That is the same thing to me. I just, forget to order Kleenex all the time. But a lot of these communities that they're building, these new religious movements, have been called cults. And sometimes they're called both. It just kind of depends on who's doing the talking, I guess. And as we know from our research of Scientology, cults are often undeniably associated with mind control and brainwashing. But a lot, if not the majority, of people mistakenly believe that all cults, I can't talk, deal with religion, which is just not the case. People find themselves in a cult for a variety of reasons, including being born into one. And actually, a lot of cults, if not for, including Scientology, y'all, a lot of cults, if not for the born ins, the second and third gens, their their numbers would be dismal because they're just not good at recruitment, mainly because of the internet and the ability for people to figure out that they are absolutely full of it. So, uh, no one knowingly joins a cult, or I can't imagine anybody that would. So I don't know. If y'all know somebody that knowingly said, "Oh, this is cult and I'm going to go join it." But new religious movements recruit people who do not believe that it is a cult or that they would even join a cult. So, it can look like just a Bible study. It can look like a new church that's growing, right? And we don't necessarily think, "Oh, it's a cult," every time we see a new church spring up, right? Or every time we see somebody just innocently having Bible study in their home. And a lot of times they will be a group that's going to a traditional church. Like the church that I went to, we had people that had independent Bible studies in their homes, and I would have never thought, "Oh, that's a cult." But all it takes is for somebody to have an ulterior motive, and there you go. And pretty soon, if you're not careful, they can really make you think that, that you need to follow them and give up your other, you know, religion. So, cults target people who are vulnerable, but not stupid. So, I want you to think about that. Some of their favorite targets are college students. Your average kid, I call them kids, they're usually adults by this time. So your average young adult that's going off to college for the first time, or maybe, in a different year, second or third, fourth year of college, but you know, they're not stupid. They're not, mentally incapable of deciphering things. I mean, so that kind of right there tells you that that's not who cults are going after. They're not going after the weak. They're going after the vulnerable. And the vulnerable very often can be a college kid that's never been away from home. And they come to college and maybe they're like, not at their home church anymore. So they find this group that's doing a Bible study, or, they find this group that's doing like a book club, or a mystery club, or gosh, anything. And they reel them in. I mean, they don't come in there and say, "Oh, we're a cult." You know, we're a cult. Come join us. Ugh. It could also be somebody that's maybe an aspiring actor or actress and has moved off to LA or New York City, right? We see that a lot, that these, young adults, they're going to make it, right? They're going to be, rich and famous. They're going to be a big movie star. And off they go to the big city, and it's hard. Yeah, very, very hard. And they fall in with a group that is there for all the wrong reasons, but sucks them in. I mean, that's just like, I did a live about the cult it's the one of the 12 tribe sects. But anyway, so I did a deal about them being in Savannah. They are right there where all those college kids live and go to school, because a lot of the dorms are actually in these buildings, and a lot of the classrooms are in these big buildings. They'll convert them over to classrooms or dorms or whatever. And so it's all down in the same area. And right there's where their little bakery is, and they're right there playing music. They're, in the park picking up volleyball games. And now what do you think they're doing? They're trying to target these college kids because they know that they are vulnerable. They also will go after people who are maybe feeling displaced with their social environment or with their church that they're currently in. Just like me, whenever I left my church, I was really looking for another church to join. And, I went for, um, I went from Baptist to Methodist. And so I didn't like go look for these little independent churches or anything. And we don't have them, cults so much right here where I live, thank God. But we did have a little group that I was very, very concerned about at one point, and I think that they were headed to a cult, but they kind of got it kind of ripped away from them in a way, and I'm still not completely sure. I still have my, little bit of it's a church now, an absolute big full-blown church, but I just still just have like weird feelings about it. But people who feel displaced are vulnerable. This can be even where can be political. Like a political based cult can swoop in and grab you if you're feeling displaced. As an example, I personally live in an area that is hugely MAGA. Okay. Now, you all know that I'm a little Democrat in the game here. Kind of all by myself sometimes, but yeah. So I'm in no way, shape, or form MAGA. But sometimes that's very excluding. The churches around here are, very quiet about it, but they are very MAGA. Most of my friends are MAGA. That's another reason that I don't really think to like tell friends things. Like I told Mischief, I said, I forget to actually just, like go to my friends and say, this is what's going on in my life. I think to tell my family because they've always been there for me. But I've had some heartache with friends. Between the newspaper business and the whole MAGA thing, I've lost a lot of friends and I have been royally screwed over a few times. And it's upsetting. And so I just back away. Well, if there was a cult here, I would be a very vulnerable person for them to come swooping in and being like, "Oh, come over here, little Democrat girl. We're all Democrats too." Or the other way around. If this was a highly Democratic area, then it would be a great place for, somebody with MAGA, or even if they're not really, they can just like make you think they are, right? Long enough to get you sunk into these cults. I'm not talking even necessarily about, a MAGA cult or a Democrat cult or anything. Scientology, you know damn well if they could use somebody's politics to bring them in, they would. But yes, we also do have political cults, but Scientology would do it too. And if Scientology will, so will all the others. So, you know. Yeah, the churches, they just get on my nerves around here. You're not supposed to talk about politics and all that stuff, but they find ways to do it. They find their ways. So, anyway, that's a lot of the reason that I'm not going to church right now, is because I don't want to be told either way who to vote for. I don't want anybody telling me to vote Democrat. I don't want anybody telling me to vote Republican. I'm going to vote who I want to vote for and who I like. And so, that's just me. But cults thrive on providing a place for us to fit in. Hey, Tour Force, good to see you. I don't recognize your name, but welcome, and I hope you join us again. So, most cults, whether they are political cults or whatever, because there's different cults for all kinds of reasons, but they all at some point seem to fall into having some sort, even if it's a loosely done thing, of a religious interpretation of the Bible. And so at some point, even if it's after they suck you in with, a book club or something, it's like that they almost always turn to some form of religion. But a lot of times you're so into it that you don't even notice it happening. And so it's kind of scary. And that's what scares me to death about these cults that move in right by our colleges, just like down in Austin. Whenever she's not my favorite person, but okay. When Pearl Snappy was down there and she was protesting against Scientology, the college was across the street. Do you think that was accidental that Scientology bought the building across the street from the college? Because I don't think so. I don't think Scientology does anything accidentally. And I really don't think that most cults at all do ever. I think that they are very intentional. It might look accidental, but I don't think it is. I really don't. So, like I said, it might be a slow transition into the religious aspects of it, because they start out just a social group or an ethical group, but they almost always turn, accidentally on purpose, Marilee, absolutely. So, most of us here will have heard the story of cult leader Jim Jones in the mass unaliving that took place at Jonestown, where nearly 1,000 followers, most of them unalived themselves. But if they wouldn't unalive themselves, they were unalived. So it wasn't just a mass unaliving. Well, it was, but it wasn't just a mass self unaliving. It was worse than what we even know. And there is a amazing documentary about it on Netflix, and I cannot encourage you enough to go watch it. It is deep and it is dark, but it is amazing. It is very well done. But anyway, so nearly 1,000 of these people died that day, and they died in devotion to Jones, okay, and his teachings. But there are others that have been just as awful, or maybe not the count, maybe not as many, but they have been just as bad, like Heaven's Gates or the Branch Davidians and the Church of God, or the Children of God. Sorry, the Church of God's got some problems too. But anyway, the Children of God. And there are plenty more. Each of these cults sought to be the beacon of evangelism, boy, for its followers, and each offered an alternative interpretation of the Bible. Cancer-free. Yeah, Evie, did you just come in and catching up? Yes. Isn't that amazing? I'm excited. I'm getting more excited as this live goes on because it's like it's really starting to kick in that it's true. They essentially promoted the illusion of comfort, understanding, and inclusivity in order to manipulate followers. Oh, thank you, Marilee, for the gifted memberships. That's so very kind of you. Thank you. To keep them under the influence and safely in the group, not leaving because they felt safe there. And that's what cults do. They make you think that you're comfortable, that they understand all of your concerns and your woes and your, whatever in life. And they absolutely make you think that you are in some kind of a inclusive group. And unless we're talking about inclusive misery, a lot of times that is absolute BS. But what happens to people that leave the cult? As we know, life inside cults like Scientology can be damaging mentally and physically. The damage usually manifests itself psychologically and emotionally, and ex-cult members must not only deal with the trauma of their experiences, but often with their whole life, as they have to try to rebuild or build, because a lot of them, like the ones that were born into these cults, and it's not just Scientology, although that's the one that we tend to focus on the most here, but so many of them were born in this cult, so they don't have a life to try to go back to. They have to try to build a life outside of the cult at the same time that they're having everything they've ever known, everyone that they've ever known, ripped from them, which is just horrible and very traumatizing. It's just like, I was thinking about that, even like the Amish, they shun members that leave, which is so much like the whole disconnection thing, right? I mean, if we look at some of the other, cult type groups, they all just pretty much follow the same patterns. They just might call it different. They each have their own language, but they're all different languages, and it's sad. It is just sad. But I know that specifically to Scientology, when they leave, maybe they've been in their entire life, and suddenly their parents, their friends, their employers, their doctor, everybody, it's gone. And I can't really imagine. I mean, it was hard enough whenever I left my church because my family stayed with me. They left the church too, and I mean, it was not a cult, but it was very culty, but I wouldn't call it a cult. But my family did leave with me. Mark left, the girls left, my mom, everybody. left, except for a couple of my aunts and a couple cousins. But pretty much everybody disconnected from me. Maybe not, it didn't look like Scientology, but yet it kind of did. I mean, I would go into Walmart and I would see somebody from our church, somebody I had known since I was 14 years old, some of them longer than that. And they would like act like they didn't see me. They would hurry and get to another aisle, I mean, even family members, even those aunts and cousins would do it too. So, they spread rumors about it, about what had happened. So people that I had a like business relationship with in town suddenly thought that I had done all these things that I had not done. And so they didn't have anything to do with me. So I can kind of imagine, but yet I don't know, maybe we just never think that we can imagine, but I guess I can kind of imagine. But anyway, it's a mess. It's just so unfair. And now seems like a good time for a word from our sponsor, which is just me, y'all. I'm not yet sponsored by anybody, but if if I have to have a sponsor, I guess unless I get Mark to come out here and do this. So I'm the talent. Mark's the actual sponsor, and so I get to be the talent today. So anyway, what I want to talk to you about is, if you will go look on my community page, which now says posts. I don't know why that YouTube thought that post was more descriptive than community, but we don't know why YouTube does a lot of things. But anyway, if you go look on there or on my merch store, you will find a picture of a mug that was designed specifically for this channel by Jillian Monday. It's kind of a turquoise mug, and it says, every voice raises the volume. Susie Oberholtz on it. Okay, we are going to give away one of those mugs. The drawing will be Friday. So what you have to do, because there's always going to be a what you got to do. You got to do the do, okay? So what you got to do is I think they do just do things to frustrate us, Dawn. I really do. And it's good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Janet from Another Planet, also good to see you. Totally Jersey. I am just tickled. I got all kinds of people in here today. All the goodies. But anyway, I want you to go to that community post or in the comment section of any live this week. Now that's actually from the live I did Saturday to any lives that I do this week up until Thursday night. And you're going to leave a comment either on the community page, on the one that has the picture. Don't be going willy-nilly and putting them all over the place. On that post or on this week's community comment sections, not the live. You have to do it on the comments after the live, okay? Now, here's the catch. And I announced this Saturday too, but here's the catch, y'all. I want you to include a sentence in that comment that has a color in it. Now, that color can be any color except the color of these curtains, which is pink. So you can make a comment that has any color that you want in that comment except pink. You can also leave as many comments as you want on as many of the videos and on the community tab, all you want. Every comment is an entry into the drawing, which will be drawn probably by Veta on Friday. So if not Veta, maybe I'll get Mark to draw it if she's busy. So anyway, I'm not going to post the rules in the comment section or anything because I want everybody to, watch the videos. They got to watch the videos to win the prizes. So y'all go do that, and we will now get back to our regular scheduled programming. Ugh. Okay, cult leaders use manipulation, emotional tactics on unassuming individuals to convince them of their ideology. So, again, so much of the time we are talking about college kids, people that have just moved to a new area and they're very trusting and they want to join. What looks scary about a book club or a murder mystery club or Bible study at from the church that you're currently attending? Because just because they're connected to a specific, like, legit church right now doesn't mean that that it won't go completely wrong very fast. They have a way of going completely sideways. So, that's what they do is they just try to, like, sneak in the back door kind of and be like, you can trust us. We're just a book club. How fun is this? And they do the long con, y'all. They're not going to, like, it's not going to be the first day you go or maybe the fourth or fifth day you go. It might be a year down the road. It might be 6 months. It might be, whatever. Just depends on how much time they think they've got to devote to you. And so just really got to be careful. But they are just, I don't know. They don't dump all the controlling, damaging crap on you all at once. It's slow. Just like how Scientology, how you have to get to certain places before you even get certain information. It's kind of the same thing. Only not all cults make you pay for that information. And, Scientology brings you in and love bombs you and get you to trust them with these, little self-help things that, I mean, honestly, the things that they offer as self-help, you could get it off the internet or any self-help book on the shelves. But somehow they make it seem like it's something new and exciting and that it's only them. But, I guess that's the cult part of it. But if they did dump all the crazy on you at first, cults wouldn't exist. So they play the game. They know exactly what they're doing. And it is only with prolonged mental manipulation that they can change how a person would interact inside or outside of the cult. So after you've been there a while and they've manipulated you and they've kind of, this slow con kind of deal, pretty soon they're getting you to dump your friends, dump your family, maybe you're working for the cult now. I mean, they have these ways. And that's what I mean is that they don't want people that they think are dummies because they want to employ them and they want them to go out there and be able to recruit other people. Well, if we were like these, if they were just recruiting these like simpleton kind of people, who are they gonna go recruit? Right? So they've got to recruit people that are going to make you and me and our kids and our grandkids want to be a part of that cult. So, according to CBS News, president of the International Cultic Studies Association, Steve Eckel, there are approximately 10,000 known cults currently operating in the United States alone. That's not even worldwide. That's here in the US alone. But let's be real. He even said, we have absolutely no idea of knowing just how many cults there are because there's all these little ones that are hid in the back hills of Missouri and Vermont and Washington and Oregon and even here in Oklahoma. We've got several little cults here in Oklahoma, and I just would bet that they may not even be on this registry of his 10,000 that he's talking about because they're teeny tiny little groups. They might be just 10, 15, 20 people, but they're still a cult. Just like the ones that killed those 2 ladies, remember that I talked to you about, and the grandma was, like, wanting custody of the babies, and she killed, um, the mom and the mom's friend that was just going with her for an exchange with the kids. Anyway, they ended up killing those 2 ladies, and this is a very well-known down in that area cult. And that's very political, very religious, very everything. And it's just scary because you just never know. You just never know. And I live out in the country, and I'm like, I go past like a long dark driveway, and I'm like, I wonder if there's a cult back there. And then my brother, he says that there's a cult that moved in behind him. And so I need to talk to him and get all that information, but we don't get along all that great. So I haven't, really talked to him about it, but I need to. I need to just suck it up and being like, all right, tell me the story on this cult. So yeah, there's probably many, 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 many more under the radar cults across the nation, and God only knows what there are in other countries. It would be interesting, but I don't know how we would ever know. So, what cults really are, who joins them, how they join them, and why they can't just leave are big misunderstandings in the general public. Like I hear all the time, well, how stupid are they to join a cult? Or, there must be something wrong with them to have joined a cult. Or, they joined of their own free will. Just leave them alone. Why are you so worried about it? They joined of their own free will. Well, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. Well, some do, but a lot of them don't. A lot of the ones that we know right here in this space, community, whatever the hell we are now, are second and third gens. They had absolutely no choice. Their parents, grandparents, whatever, brought them into the cult and kept them there. And if they had not been brave enough to leave, they would have brought their children in. And so, that's why I say we need to remember that these people are damaged, and we need to remember that they are all damaged, not just the ones that openly talk about it. So, they all have their damage that they're trying to deal with and, trying to learn from. And we need to be a little more understanding with everybody and not just the ones that openly say they need help or openly say they're in therapy or whatever. Why don't they just leave? Because we covered that while ago. Would you just leave automatically if you were going to have to give up every single person in your life? These cults, just like Scientology, have a snitch mentality, and you might have your parents might snitch on you, your spouse, your own children. I mean, you never know who's going to snitch on you. So, you're scared to leave. You're scared to say, hey, I want to get out of here. You want to come with me? And maybe the person does, but you're too scared to ask. And so are they. So nobody asks anybody. And a lot of times people just stay because it's easier. Cults are a lot easier to identify as a cult once their damage is done. So once people leave the cult and they come out of the cult, that's when they usually figure out, whoa, that was a cult. And now I'm having to deal with all of this damage that it has caused me. But they see it once they get out and away from it. And it's usually not immediately. It usually takes a little bit of time before they, even if they say, Scientology is a cult or whatever, here and here are not the same. They might know in their head that it's a cult, but in their heart, it takes longer because their heart is what's connected to them. It's not their head. Their head can disconnect from them, but their heart is what's going to, hurt to disconnect from them. So, yeah, they have to be out of the cult and have foresight to now see that, oh goodness, they say hindsight's 2020. That's what this is talking about. So that's why it's so important to be aware of our own vulnerabilities, because we all have them. We have to be aware of the red flags of persuasive tactics, especially with group settings where peer acceptance can cloud our judgment. Because, like I said, who hasn't been asked to join a book club or a gardening club or a church Bible study or a sports team? You're all going to get together and play softball and go have a few drinks afterwards. And then pretty soon it kind of starts getting a little ick and you're already in deep. So that's what I'm talking about by vulnerabilities, not whether or not we're stupid or have mental deficiencies, because again, that's not who they want. They want the biggest and the brightest, except for Tom Cruise. They want dumb as a rock. The main objective of today's video is that, believe it or not, at any time, we could be, anytime given the right situation, you and me, could fall victim to a cult, given the right time and the right opportunities and the right vulnerabilities of that moment. In fact, it is an unfortunate myth that cult members are stupid, uneducated, or even have mental issues. The truth is that that is completely untrue. Most cult members are intelligent. Look at our friends that are second and third gens. Would you call any of them stupid? Other than, I know a couple of them that seriously need some good therapy, not what they're currently getting, but I believe they really need some serious, intensive, good therapy, and I don't think they're getting that now, and that's not their fault. It's scary because you trust your therapist, but I think they need to rethink that. But, it's just like, none of them are stupid. None of them are mentally deficient. They're all pretty normal, right? Even like higher intelligence. I think that Liz Gale is incredibly intelligent, well-spoken, just amazing. I would never think to think of her as dumb or any kind of mentally deficient. She's amazing. I know a lot of people don't like Aaron, but the man is smart. He's not dumb. He's absolutely intelligent. Well-spoken. So Natalie, absolutely, she's very intelligent, very well-spoken. And there's plenty more. Blow Drill, he's amazing. Eric Rader. Speaking of which, y'all, if you have not already subbed to Eric Rader, go do it and give him some love. Just comment somewhere and just give him some love. He is really, really feeling alone. And, the whole scene in LA is just such a shit show right now that the ones that are actually in LA that are doing the work, we need to really back them up. And Eric Rader is one of them. I see you, Marilee. So if you haven't already, or even if you have, just go give him some love. Just go tell him that, hey, we respect you. You're a hard worker and please don't leave, because he's talking about leaving He's very seriously talking about leaving. And it's going to break my heart if he leaves this community because I just really care, you know, I care a lot about him. So if you haven't already, or even if you have, please just go give him like a virtual hug. And oh, gotta read this side. Yeah, a lot of people that end up in cults are they're just looking for like-minded people, or they're looking for answers to questions about things that they've just never gotten answers to, whether it is in their, social circles or in their conventional church or even in their, you know, places of education, college, grad school, all these things. These people are searching for something. And cults just love to see who they can provide those answers for. I mean, of course, who wouldn't want to save the world or do some other hugely noble cause? Just like the whole Jim Jones thing, that was all about being, inclusive and not being racist or sexist or homophobic and all that. Well, of course, a lot of people joined. And at first, he was great. Everybody thought he was amazing. It was only after a while that things went so terribly wrong. And when they went really wrong. So, almost 1,000 people wrong. So, anyway, tomorrow we're going to look into how to identify a cult and how to avoid falling into their clutches. But it's important to remember that it could be us. We are the kind of people that join cults. We are exactly the kind of people that join cults. We are all, relatively smart, personable, well spoken. I see you, Miss TikTok. I see that, Mischief. I'm almost finished. I'm on my last card. So, if they announce themselves, we're probably not going to join them. I mean, like, at least Scientology is kind of open about, hey, we're Scientology and we are going to show you the bridge to total freedom. We are going to just, you know. But even them, given somebody in the right situation at the right time, they could fall for it. But it's getting harder and harder because the internet, because, people that are kind of looking into it can now look into it and they see all the stuff. That's what we're doing, is we're trying to keep anybody that's not in from getting in and anybody that wants out to get out. That's what the job of me and my fellow YouTube creators that do Scientology content. That's what we're here for. That's what you're here for, is because by commenting and being here and everything. And that's why I say, please, please, please comment in the comment section too, not just on the lives, because somebody might come back in 6 weeks or 6 years and they see all your names and your comments and they feel supported. And so they don't need Scientology to support them or any cult. So that's what we're trying to do, is make sure that nobody joins any cult from now on. And we have to really, really be careful to let our kids know and our grandkids know. Veta, she asked me yesterday, what is a cult, Grandma? What is Scientology? And so I was trying to explain it to her in age appropriate terms, and she was like, don't you dare, heading to StreamYard now. I am almost done. But, start them young. Teach them what they are, because you just never know. You just never know. They are so good at infiltrating schools. I'm so glad on that part that Megan's kids are homeschooled, because at least they're not going to get Scientology, heading into there. But anyway, so now, y'all, I'm going to go back to my chat for just a minute. But don't forget to do the do so that you can somebody's going to win that mug, and it's really pretty. Aw. Thanks, Susie. Mischief says TikTok. Thanks, Janet. Member for a month. Well, I'm going to go up here and kind of check in with a few people that I might have missed just quickly. Okay, I know where I was at. So Joel says, my experiences show me that anyone can be sucked into a cult. Super smart or dumb as dirt. Anyone can get sucked in. Absolutely. Anyone can. Eileen says, depends on the cult and the individual. Often inquisitive people looking for deeper meaning or a reason for why things are the way they are, but also people who are looking to belong. Yes, absolutely. That's perfectly said. Eileen says, the main reason I've never been sucked into a cult is because I don't like people in general. And certainly not a group of them, especially if they start throwing rules at me. Nope. Girl, we are the same. I am so incredibly antisocial. I know I like talk y'all's ears off on here, but I just don't go around people. Joel says, I grew up in the 60s. The search for the meaning of life was big, lots of crazy stuff. But why has been a puzzle for man for all of time. So logic tells us there will be no answer. I kind of agree. I don't believe that there is an answer as to why and where and, P.T. Barnum said it best. There's a sucker born every minute. We are all suckers at one time or another. Absolutely, Joel. That's not an insult. I've certainly been a sucker for some stuff or some people. Mm. Yes, Marilee, even mainstream religions can be kind of culty. I'm proof of that. Eileen says, I lived next to Jehovah's Witnesses and they were weird and annoying. Had to rescue the sister of the wife after she ran out crying in her underwear when her husband was having some kind of culty fit. Oh, God. Yeah. I could tell some stories about about that group that I was worried was turning into a cult. Maybe someday. Your whole thing of the culty fit? Yeah. Oh gosh, I don't think he hurt her, but he was having a full-on temper tantrum about some rules she broke, throwing stuff against the wall and such, causing her to run out scared in her underwear. He was awful. Bless her heart. Being Canadian, I don't trust MAGA with all of the rhetoric being thrown around. Well, I'm American and I don't trust them either, but that's neither here nor there. A bunch of people don't trust the Democrats either, so yeah. LRH bought that building in Austin because it's across the street from the college. Absolutely, poet. I believe that with all of my heart. Totally. Jersey's going to catch on the replay. Yes. Oh, you've been watching Aaron. Did he put one out like this afternoon? I didn't see it, I don't think. I'll have to go check. Yes, I did get awesome news. Anybody coming in late? I am cancer free. Yes. Yes, I am. I am kind of numb over it. So I'm just kind of skipping past the ones where you're talking to each other. From birth, we love our family because we're biologically programmed to, but that doesn't mean we'll grow up to actually like them. Love and like don't always coexist. That's true. It's kind of where I am with my brother. I love him, but Purdy's Chocolate. Never heard of it. It's a Canadian company. I'm going to have to look that up. Yes, a chocolate cult. Now, they might be able to get me in. Nisa says, the reason why we have that many cults is because of the Constitution. No, I haven't, but I have to homemade companies where I live in the States. Cool. Yeah, there are cults in every country. I don't think it's just because of the Constitution, but Eileen says, with all the control and groupthink, the sense of individual self falls away too hard to leave it when you don't even know who you are as a person. Absolutely. Love Eric. I love that you all love him. Please go show him some love. We don't need him to leave too. We cannot let the crazy antics of some people. I'm not saying they're crazy, but they got some crazy antics. And we can't let the crazy antics of some people keep robbing us of good content creators. We have lost so many. I mean, it is absolutely crazy how many that we've lost. Some of those live chats for some of the creators look like a sort of cult too, blindly along with whatever the creator says, no matter how nutty. You know who I mean. Eileen, I know. And by the way, Natalie did an amazing video. I think it was yesterday on like, is your favorite creator a cult leader? And I just found it very, even myself, who I've done, those kind of videos before, but hers was just so much better than mine. I just love everything Natalie does. And so go watch that one too. It is really good. It really is. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting in trouble. Joel says he'll see us all and he hopes that our week is filled with kindness. Yours too, Joel, if you're still here. Thank you, Janet. I am just excited and so I think that we have reached the end of the chat stream. So I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I do plan to be back tomorrow. Good. Thank you. Totally Jersey. She subbed to Eric and just go leave him a comment somewhere. I don't know where, on a video or something. Just leave him a comment and just, say, don't you quit. Susie will come after you. Yes, you do need to go watch Natalie's video, Eileen. It is so good. It is so good. I love to point out videos that are just so good. I really do. Well, y'all, I'm going to get off of here. I'm about almost 18 minutes into trouble. So I will see you guys tomorrow. But this one ran a little long because I had to introduce Mags and I had to tell you about my cancer. Or my lack of cancer. So I'm going to go. I love you and I will see you tomorrow. You have a great rest of your day.